everyone, welcome to episode 40 of Pineapple Knits. I'm Marina and you can find me everywhere on the internet at Pineapple Yarn, and shortly, coming up next month, you will be able to visit my hand-dyed yarn at pineappleyarn.com. So thanks so much for joining me again this week. It has been quite a while since I've podcasted, at least a month. I didn't even look to see the last time I recorded. So apologies for that. It has just been a crazy summer, I'm sure, because we just moved and because it's summer. And so we've just really enjoyed being at the beach. For those of you who might be new to the podcast or haven't watched a few podcasts, my family and I recently moved back to South Carolina, where we have lived before in years past, and we are on the coast, which is the southeastern United States. I'm so excited to be back here with you today. It is just a beautiful end of July day. The weather has been, I couldn't ask for better weather. It's been very warm, but we're so close to the coast that we get these beautiful breezes, and I actually really like the humidity, so I feel like it's just perfect. I couldn't ask for better weather. We had a few days in there, I think it was early, maybe about a month ago, where it was very, very warm, just intense heat. I think the temperatures were getting up to, or the heat index was like 107, which is very, very warm. So I'm enjoying this weather, mid 80s so much. It's very beautiful. And yeah, we've really been enjoying our new home where we live. We have been visiting the beach a lot, which is probably not surprising to a lot of you who've been following me since the beginning. We lived in Hawaii before this, so this is just wonderful. We're really, really enjoying it. Yeah, so I have so much to talk to you about, and this is going to be kind of all over the place episode. I have a lot of new knitting projects. I have no finished objects, which is just ridiculous, but I have a lot of new knitting projects. I have new spinning projects. I have house updates. I have, new studio updates, shop updates. So it's a little crazy. I am going to divide everything up. I'm going to put a timestamp below so you can skip ahead if you're not interested in certain segments, because I think this is going to be longer than my normal podcast. I'm pretty sure it's going to be longer. I have a lot of content to cover, but grab a drink, grab your knitting or your spinning, or just relax and enjoy the podcast. I'm actually using a new mug today and kind of new tea. This is a mug from David's Tea, which I love. This is such a cool mug. I can't remember exactly what it's called. Miami something. Just recently, I just purchased it recently, and they had a huge sale at davidstea.com, and I bought this during the sale, and it is a color changing mug, which is just so amazing. It's like the 90s all over again. But this is color changing. This is bright yellow when it's hot. I don't have this mug filled up all the way, but within a couple of minutes after I have it filled, you can see it's about half full right now, but it completely changes. This is a bright yellow. And then the back is palm trees. So this has been a really fun mug. And then I am drinking Tea Seaberry Spa, which is a flavor from David's Tea. I believe they're discontinuing. It was in the sale. I really hope if you're interested, you can still get it, because it is an amazing flavor. I don't know why they're discontinuing it, except that it is such a combination of random things that I never would have thought tasted good. I had a sample of it. I want to say maybe it was included in one of my orders, or maybe someone gave it to me. I'm not sure. But it has rosemary and apples and licorice root. It sounds so random, but it's so good. So if you're interested, I would check it out pretty soon if you're watching this podcast. soon after it's released, because I think the sale's still going on. Great, super great prices. But anyway, I'm enjoying this today. And yeah, let me give you just a little bit of house updates right now. And so you can see how crazy everything has been going and why I haven't podcasted for a month plus. But yeah, so for those of you who haven't been following or have missed the past couple of episodes, we moved into kind of a fixer-upper. It's an older home. It's has a beautiful property. It's a beautiful home. It just has, I think it sat empty for a while, and maybe has just, I don't think it was lived in full time. I think it was a vacation home for a while. So there was just some things that needed to be updated and fixed, and the property was completely neglected. So one of the first things that we needed to do is remove lots of large trees, and we had probably 20 plus trees removed on the property. Giant trees, over 100 feet tall. And so that took a while, and that was really expensive, but they were threatening the foundation and the septic tank, so we had to do it. There's still tons of trees on the property, but these were the most crucial that needed to be removed. So we had those removed. We're still in the process. The company should be done this week, grinding the stumps down so we can level out the ground, and we are actually going to plant a garden, which is something I've always wanted to do. So that will be really fun. The great thing is about living in the South here and living in warmer weather is we have 2 planting seasons, so we can plant in the spring as well as the fall. We're right in the middle of planting season for the last half of the year, so we need to really get on it and get that garden planted. But that'll be so nice when it's done. And yeah, so that has been a little crazy. There's actually a crew out there right now. If you hear any noises, they're removing the last of the branches and leaves and everything and hauling those away. So that will completely change the look of the, immediately surrounding our house. Already, since we've had the trees down, it has brought so much light into the house. I love that. I love sun in a house, and it's kind of made a kind of a sad house, a little more perky, so that's nice. But that's been the major thing that we've done, and the most immediate thing that we've needed to do in the house. But as far as the studio goes, we have our main house, and then we have a separate small house on the property. It's basically a 1-bedroom house that I'll be using for the Pineapple Yarn Studio when it's all done. And we have worked a ton on that. We have completely gutted the inside. The inside is down to the studs right now. And yeah, that was kind of in the plan at the last resort, but we found so many things that needed to be fixed that we just figured we would do it. I think that if the electrical didn't need to be updated, then we probably would have left it, but I've had electrical changed or updated before and had so many patches in the drywall, and that it has just been better to completely remove drywall and start fresh. So yeah, that's kind of what our reasoning was with this, is that we wanted to increase the insulation. We would have to have all of it rewired anyway because it's cloth covered wiring, or we wanted to do that. I needed to have updated electrical for my dyeing equipment, and so yeah, we are starting fresh. So this week we have a couple of electrical contractors, and we're having the windows replaced. They're very old. There's no saving them. They're very single pane, old windows. We just want it to be a lot more energy efficient, and while we're doing it, we might as well have everything fixed. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. I will give you more shop news at the very end of the episode. Let's talk about my knitting. Show you what I've been working on. I cast on a new project because, yeah, I used to be a monogamous knitter and I don't know what happened. Just where it is right now. I really did want something intuitive. I don't know, I just wanted to cast on something new, I guess. And so, yeah, I cast on the Cubetcha Shawl by Casapinka. And I have made quite a bit of progress. I've really done a lot on this, and I absolutely love it. It is the best pattern. Can I just say this? It has been so fun. You have the pattern memorized very quickly, which is so great. It's just the cutest. It is going to be the cutest shawl when it's done, in a boomerang shape. It's a one skein pattern, and don't you think it looks really great with this yarn? I am so excited to wear this. This is one of my colorways, Purple Passionflower, and it is on a Blue Face Leicester and nylon base. And this has just been an absolute joy to knit at the beach, to knit, you know, when it's so hot. And I love these, all the little cubes at the bottom. I don't know if mine really look like cubes, but I think they're fun anyway. So I saw this, I had to cast on, and I'm really getting finished. I'm very close to getting finished, I should say. I only have this much left, and so it will go so quickly. And yeah, I haven't been pushing myself on this at all. I've just been kind of, you know, doing it at the beach. I've been taking it with me if I go places. Yeah, so it has been really fun. You will see this as a finished object very soon, I'm sure. Though I do really like to have these kinds of projects on my needles, just to pick up and not have to think about. To be honest, my mind is just not into anything challenging knitting right now. Just any new techniques, any kind of anything. Just not there right now. Just that time of my life. So I cast on a sock because that's what you do. I had this little skein of Sunset Beach that I had dyed quite a number of years ago. This is one of my first colorways that I still dye and I still love because it has, I use a layering technique in it that is, I discovered really by accident and has become one of my favorite techniques, just to get some really unusual colors and blended colors. But this is what it looks like. So this is Pineapple Yarn Sunset Beach, and it's just a really beautiful warm colorway with you know, oranges and peaches and purples, greens, very speckled. This is what it looks like knit up, or this skein does anyway. I'm sure it's changed because I dyed it a number of years ago, but what I'm doing with this is just doing a tube sock. And if you've been following my podcast for a while, you know that I have done this before. where I have a skein of yarn, you know, just a leftover bit of yarn, I knit a toe. Normally I'd knit a toe in a contrasting color and then just keep knitting a tube. Knit a toe when I get to the end of it, knit a toe on the other side, and then cut it in the middle. Add cuffs to each section, and then add afterthought heels, and you have a pair of socks. And you've used up all of your yarn, which is so cool. So this one, I started it, I'm trying to think why I didn't put a contrasting toe. I believe it was because I hadn't unpacked my yarn all the way, my personal stash, or because I just didn't want to get up from the couch at night and find a contrast. Keeping it real. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this. And I think this is 60 stitches on a US 0 or 2.0 millimeter needle. It's an Addy Rocket. I'm doing a magic loop as I knit all of my socks, and this is for me. Are you guys proud? I never knit any socks for myself. So yeah, I'm doing that, knitting these for myself. I really, really like this colorway. I really like, I like all colors basically, but I love warm colors, and I think this is just going to be so fun when it's done. And this is a great colorway to mix. There's just so many different colors that go well with this, so yeah, this has been really fun. It's on a sparkle base that I don't carry anymore. So I really, really love sparkle in my yarn or my knitting, so that is that. So these are my two, the Cubetcha Shawl and this sock are kind of my two go-tos lately with knitting, just because they are mindless knitting, and yeah, that's just where I'm at with my knitting. But I'm gonna update you on my Lunae Shawl by Natasja Hornby of Moonstruck Knits, and that's not the bag for it. I have been working on this shawl, oh my goodness, I've been working on this for so long, it's nearly embarrassing. It is a absolutely gorgeous shawl. It is beautiful, but I have no attention span. I knit at night lately. Well, most of the time I do knit at night, and to follow a chart at night, and to follow it not on paper. So to follow it on my phone, it's just a little challenging. Yeah, so let me update you on it. Long story short, I skipped a motif in the pattern and then continued with the bottom gorgeous mosaic section. So here's what I did. I had skipped basically this section of the shawl, and I needed to put it right here, which you can see that I did. I had probably this much on the shawl of this charted mosaic pattern, and I ripped it all out. I ripped it all the way back to here. I really did have literally this much on it. It was so difficult. I hate frogging so much. You know, am I glad I did it now? Absolutely. I'm so glad I did it now, but yeah, it was kind of sad. I'm back. I needed to change the battery on my camera. Okay, so what I was saying is that I ripped back on the Lunae Shawl. All in all, I'm very happy I did it. I just feel like, for me, I don't know if this is how it is for you, but when I rip back And, you know, as dreadful as it is, oh, it's so hard. But if it is a lace pattern or a charted pattern, I've had practice at it once already, and so the second time I know what might trip me up. I know, you know, the more complicated parts of it for me, and so it just goes by so much faster. I don't know if that's how it is for you, but that's how it feels for me. So here it is. It looks like it has made absolutely no progress since my last podcast, but it is coming along, I promise. I really do have to say, I love this shawl so much. It is, oh, I am gonna love wearing it. I am gonna love wearing it, and actually I really love knitting it. It's a great pattern. This was my first pattern that I had knit by Moonstruck Knits, and definitely I will be doing it again. But here's a close-up of the section I'm working on. Isn't that beautiful? It definitely is what attracted me to the shawl initially. And then, do you see this? This is a little makeshift progress keeper my kids made me, which is cute. But that marks the center of the shawl, and obviously I'm showing it to you upside down, but it's just the way it is. So yeah, hopefully I can, now that the summer is kind of calming down a little bit, I'm hoping that I can start working on this again, because, you know, we'll have warm weather for quite a while. This is a non-superwash wool, a fingering weight Knit Picks palette. But I'm not going to be wearing this anytime soon. And but I am wanting to get it done, so when it's time to wear it, I can, because this is going to be so great. I love it so much. So that's the update with that. I mean, yeah, hopefully I can show you some new progress next time on that. And then I started a new project. Can I just say, I think that ALICIA Plummer, who is a designer, a knitwear designer, who's been around for quite a while, I think she's such a nice person. I've never met her, but she seems like such a nice person. You know, you can just tell. I just thought I'd throw that out there. So I saw that she was doing a mystery knit along. Oh my goodness. I cannot resist a mystery knit along. I don't know what it is. It's just terrible. But I saw that she was hosting a mystery knit along, and she said it would be, you know, just kind of easy, and I think it was kind of, it's beach themed, or maybe shore, kind of a, not like tropical beach, but maybe more of like a northern beach themed. It's a beautiful mystery knit along, because there's a story at the beginning of every clue, you know, like, or a description. I think I'm assuming she's the writer who's doing it, and she's a great descriptive writer. Really cool. Anyway, this is the Spoondrift mystery knit along, and I began it several weeks ago, and oh my goodness, I stopped in the middle of a row. I can show you a little bit of it. Oh, I'll also put a timestamp here. Go ahead if you want it to be a mystery, if you want to start it. I do want to say really quickly though that these clues have been entirely doable. The third clue, which we are on right now, is a little more challenging. It has a little more substance, but it's entirely doable. So if you miss the start date and you're interested, I mean, I don't see why you couldn't just start now, because it really is, it's entirely doable. The clues are released, or they have been released every other week, so plenty of time to catch up. Okay, so I'm going to show you where I'm at on my Spoondrift shawl. This is it, and I think it is so pretty. I absolutely love the colors. Like I couldn't even be happier with these colors. I am using a single ply yarn from MADELINETOSH, and oh gosh, I can't remember the name now. How amazingly gorgeous is this? It's a single ply fingering weight with a, it's their new base that has hollow glitter in it, and that's why I bought it. Because I was like, hollow glitter, that's amazing. And of course I don't have the bands. I'll post it below. And then I had a little bit of my yarn, pineapple yarn, in one of my favorite colorways that I use all the time on all my projects. This is Neon Coral. And this is the best neon-y kind of tangerine orange pink color ever. And I love this color so much. So I paired these two together, and I've been alternating every other row with them. I'm going to show you, give you an up close. So the first few rows at the very top, and I don't know if you can even see a contrast, but what I did is I used the pink base right here, but then on the ridges I alternated the neon coral and the pink. And so I'm kind of blending right now. We have the second clue right here, which is kind of an eyelet. The third clue I just began. I don't have very many rows into it. It is charted. It's a lot more complicated. I've already knit maybe 10 rows and then had to rip back. Because like I said, I really cannot even, I can't even do simple charting. This is not complicated. And this is not a complicated chart, and I can't even do it. So, yeah. But, yeah, so I just began it. You can't even tell where it is. But basically, that's clue 1 and clue 2. It is going to be, looks to me like it's going to be a triangular shaped shawl. So there's my tiny shawl. I don't think, you know, as far as triangular shaped shawls, I'm not the biggest fan, to be honest. I think, you know, it's just not, if I had a shawl preference, I don't think it's the shape that I would naturally go to. But I think this is going to be really great when it's done, and it has been an enjoyable Mr. Knit Along. It hasn't been crazy intense like the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along last year, which was just, it was so much knitting. I definitely am not even done with it yet, and I bring it up from time to time because it's just kind of, it's kind of hanging over my head. Kind of like, I don't like things unfinished. I like to get them finished. I don't like outstanding whips for forever. So that is my Mr. Knit Along for now. It's by ALICIA PLUMMER. It's called Spoondrift. It's great. Yeah, I think definitely the ones I've seen have been more of like soft, neutral, you know, maybe sea-toned, like that with the gray undertones. It would be beautiful. But there's a neon example with mine, and it's going to look great, I think. I do have to say really quickly that I am blending the yarn because I only had one skein of the pink, and I believe the shawl uses, I want to say it uses at least 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn. So what I'm going to do, you know what, I'm going to get my shawl back out and show you, because I would love to hear your input and I'd love to show you. So what I'm going to do is use the pink all the way through, and the neon coral I'm going to use just as, you know, just as it allows. And then when it is finished, I am going to add another skein that I had in my stash. It is pineapple yarn in, it's also in an old sparkle base that I don't carry anymore. but I am going to add that eventually. This is Heliotrope, and it's just a really great pinky purple, and I'll add it to that. So it'll be a little bit of a fade. I think it'll be really pretty when we get to the later clues and I add that purple. The Heliotrope is going to be so pretty. I really love this color too. In sparkle, it's going to be really pretty. So yeah, those are my plans for that. Okay, I want to show you now that we're done with the knitting content, I want to show you, I'm gonna move on to spinning and the projects I've been working on with that. I have been crazy about spinning in the past month. I mean, absolutely crazy. I don't know if it's because Tour de Fleece is going on or what. I think it just ended. I wasn't doing anything official for that, so it wasn't because I was necessarily like on a team or I was challenging myself to spin. I was just really enjoying spinning. And then my friend Shauna, who is the dyer behind Adelaide Cottage, and she also has a great podcast, she asked me if I wanted to do a spin along with her, and I was like, yes, that would be great. So what we did is we took I believe it was the June Paradise Fibers Fiber of the Month Club box. And if you're a spinner and you like fiber, you know you want to change it up a little bit, I highly recommend their box. It has been such a joy every month to receive and has really expanded my fiber knowledge and just my spinning knowledge, and it's like opening a present every month. They do such a great job with their themes. And anyway, if you're interested, I have a link below. I'd highly recommend checking it out. It's so great. Anyway, so let me show you what I did with my fiber. So June's box was a kind of a spin on Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones is a show, I believe it was on HBO. I've never seen it. I may have been the only person out there who's never seen it for some reason. So yeah, it didn't, I think it was really well done, the box was. I think it was like, you know, right on with the theme of Game of Thrones. I think there were a lot of, you know, little nuances and whatnot that were great. They didn't mean anything to me because I've never seen Game of Thrones. I know nothing about it. But Shauna is like, I think she's really into Game of Thrones. She really loved it. So her enthusiasm carried me through this. But I had a really great time spinning it, even though, you know, the fiber in and of itself was so great. I started off with this gorgeous blue blend, and I had a lime green Angelina fiber. And so what I did, and I made all of these as Rolags on my blending board. I blended these two together, spun them using a supported backdraft. This is what I came up with, and I hope you can see that green. There is a ton of green Angelina in there. I mean, just an excess, really, I think it's quite excessive. Yeah, I really shouldn't have tried to use all the sparkle. I should have, yeah, I should have maybe mixed it with some other of the fibers, but this is my first color. And I kind of went into this thinking I was going to do a faded, kind of a gradient shawl or like a 3-color shawl, and I think I am. I'm going to make a boomerang shaped shawl with this. So this will be the first color. The second color, what I did is I blended there were 3 different fibers in this. So there is a red tweed, a kind of a charcoal gray black color, and then also the light blue. So this is, and I have not wound it up at all. It is an absolute mess. I'm just gonna show you anyway. So that is my second color. It is a beautiful blend of light blue, kind of a red tweed, and a charcoal. I love, love, love how this turned out. It is such a unique fiber. And this was a little more difficult to spin because of the tweed, and I'm not sure if it was just my prep. I could have prepped I don't know if it was the addition of the tweed. I don't know. But it was, I did this also supported backdraft. So this was definitely a woolen spin. All of the yarn I prepped the same way. I did rollags, and I really did my best to allow the air in, which is not what I normally do. I'm normally a very worsted, like, let's make it very smooth, you know, no air in the strands at all. But anyway, this one definitely wasn't as consistent, but it still is beautiful, and I loved the red tweed so much that I ended up going back to Paradise Fibers and buying a 4-ounce bump or bat or whatever it's called. I ended up buying 4 more ounces of it because it's beautiful. And I don't know if you can tell, the red, there's different colors of red tweed in here, but the reason I loved it so much is it's really kind of a neon red, a super, super bright orangey red. So pretty. And so I think it was, I think they referred to this as like fire and ice. Maybe that means something, Games of Thrones-y. I don't know. I'm doing a terrible job explaining this, but that's okay. So the last one, and I have to say, this fiber was a joy to spin. It melted off the rollags and just, I mean, that's the only way I can describe it, is it just melted into yarn. It was so nice. And it definitely looks inconsistent, I guess. But I think that that is just a result of my applying. I purchased, before this, I purchased a 3-ply Lazy Kate, or it's a tensioned Lazy Kate, and you can do a 3-ply on it. And I bought it for a project I'll show you pretty soon. These were all 2-ply, but I still did it on my tensioned Lazy Kate. And I have to say, it was my first time, besides this other project I'll show you in a minute, but I'm new at the tensioned Lazy Kates. And wow, what a difference that makes with plying. I couldn't even believe the difference. It was just really, really awesome. So here is the final yarn that I did from the June Paradise Fibers box. And I think these are going to make such an outstanding boomerang shawl. I can't even wait. I think the total, and of course I wrote all this down, and of course I didn't bring my notebook with me. I think the total weight of all of these was probably around, I want to say it was around 7 ounces. So this is going to be a massive shawl. This really will be quite a large shawl, especially the boomerang shaped shawl, just that tend to be longer rather than wider. Anyway, I thought that was so much fun. And thanks, Shauna, for doing that with me. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I think she and I will probably do that again in the future because it was fun. And I think she really enjoyed it, and I did as well. So yeah, it was a good time. I ended up with these little, you know, I always end up with a little bit left on my bobbin after the fact, and so I just do a 3-ply with whatever bobbin has some left. And so I had those little tiny minis at the end. Aren't those adorable? I always do that with all of my hand spun, so hopefully someday I will be creative and do something with that. Here's to hoping, right? But okay, so this is my next project. Now this had been on my wheel for quite a while. Like during the move, it was, I would show my house and have my spinning wheel tucked away, and literally I'd find a piece of wool like that I'd have to stuff back into a closet that I would see like drift out. It was just terrible. But anyway, this is fiber dyed by Nest Fiber, and it's called Love Apple. And this is by no means perfect, but this was my first project I did on the tensioned Lazy Kate that I bought from Kromsky. I actually bought it from Paradise Fibers, but it's a Kromsky tensioned Lazy Kate. And I love the 3-ply effect and love the tension Lazy Kate. So a lot of this yarn I was just experimenting with how to get, you know, the tension right on my wheel. I have a Kromsky Minstrel and I use it double drive, and so I was just trying to get the tension right on that. I was trying to get the tension right on my Lazy Kate and just see how the yarn plied, you know, just doing the very minute adjustments. But yeah, this is very pretty. I think this is probably a DK weight, would be my best guess. I have not really been writing this down very well, and I recently just started writing notes in a notebook with a pen. I am terrible about using Ravelry, and yeah, so I don't put any of my handspun on Ravelry really at all, and I'm just writing them all down in my notebook so I can go back and I can write notes about, you know, how much it weighs and how I spun it and all of that. So yeah, I think this will end up something very pretty in the future. It was such a beautiful braid, and yeah, this was a very fun project. So I did, after I finished my June Paradise Fibers Game of Thrones spin, I started something else. And I used a braid from Three Waters Farm called Color My World, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful blend of colors. And this is how it turned out. And I think it is probably one of the most consistent spins I have done to date. It is a very thin yarn. I couldn't even believe, especially for a 3-ply, how thin it turned out. And there's definitely, you know, some bits that are a little more thicker than others, but yeah, pretty happy how this turned out. As a matter of fact, after I did this, I was very happy with how it turned out, but I mean, it's pretty thin. When I read somewhere that 16 wraps per inch count as fingering, and a fingering weight yarn, and then anything 18 and over is lace, which I'm going to give you a real close-up of this, and you can tell me what you think this looks like. I think this looks like fingering weight yarn, but I was getting, I want to say, around 20 wraps per inch. This is not lace weight yarn at all, especially being a 3-ply, but I don't know if you guys can even tell. there are definitely spots in here that are very far from being a lace weight yarn. Maybe I should do a little more research on that. I need to find some of my actual spinning books, which are still packed away. But yeah, this was just a really fun spin. What I did is I took the braid and divided it into 3 sections, and that is how it was actually dyed. It was divided into thirds and dyed. So each of the thirds were the same. It had the same colors on them. The first section, the first third, I spun as is. So it had large chunks of color, you know, a large chunk of turquoise, a large chunk of lime green, etc. The second piece of the braid, I split into, I believe, four or so strips, and so there were more color repeats. It was, you know, smaller bits of turquoise, smaller bits of lime green, and the third I split into, say, 18 strips, which was, I ended up with these little batlings, basically, these little balls of these very thin strips. And so you have very rapid color changes, and you know, all in all, I was happy with the color placement on this skein. There were not a lot of color repeats. Obviously, I began spinning turquoise on all of them. So at the very beginning of this skein, there is going to be a strand of just turquoise, but it will be very short because obviously, as you can imagine, you know, dividing a piece of a braid up into 18 pieces, that strand of that color is going to be very, very short. So anyway, that was this, and I want to show you, I had a little bit left on a bobbin, and so you can kind of see the colors as they weren't mixed up. There was a lot of turquoise in here, some greens, pinks, reds. There was one section that was kind of it was a really warm red. It was very pretty. So yeah, got a little mini from that one. That was a great spin. Oh, I want to tell you, this is a superwash BFL nylon fiber as well. Such a joy to spin. BFL has been my best friend in the heat. It has been wonderful to knit with, wonderful to spin with, so I've been really happy with that. Okay, I want to kind of wind down the podcast with a few more odds and ends that I have been doing lately. First of all, my kids have wanted to knit, or not knit. I've taught them to knit, and they just don't, that's not their thing right now. They want to use the blending board and spin, and so finally I said, yes, let's do it. What happened? It was one day where I had made tons of plans. I think I had to stay home, or what happened? Oh, you know what happened is I had to have my car towed because I had a flat tire. So I was at home and I couldn't go anywhere. So I said, yes, let's do something fun today. So my daughter, she spun, and this was her first spinning project. She's 8, and she really has quite a love for anything kind of fiber artsy, in very short bursts. She doesn't have the attention span right now for long projects, which is totally fine, because frankly, I don't have the time for long projects. When she gets older, I want it to be her choice to do these things, and I will help her and support her, but she needs to be independent to do them, because that's her personality. So she has been really pushing me to spin on the wheel. And when I finished up my one of my spinning projects, I found this fiber, and it was I blended this fiber on my hackle before we moved, because, side note, I have a whole box of fiber I can't find, and it was all of my Paradise Fibers boxes for almost a year that I can't find. And my set of hackles. So I've looked everywhere. I thought I labeled all of my boxes well, so yeah, I have nearly a year's worth of my Fiber of the Month Club boxes that are gone, as well as my hackle. Yeah. Anyway, so she spun this, and I think it turned out so beautifully. This is I'm pretty sure a Cheviot wool that I received in one of my Paradise Fiber boxes. That's what made me think of losing all my fibers. Anyway, I had dyed this and added some Angelina to it, so it does have some sparkle. But yeah, she did this all by herself. And when I say all by herself, I suggested a whorl size to her. She prepared the flyer, knew how to use the orifice hook. Yeah, she must have been watching me spin, because she knew how to join any broken fiber. She knew how to join just not by overlapping the fibers, but by, you know, just catching the end of the new fiber as you're spinning the current fiber. I don't know what that's called. She knew how to do it. And it's so funny how some people, you know, knitting, spinning, these things are so intuitive. It always is very interesting to me. But she gets it. She is very talented at it, and this was her first spin. She's so excited about it. So I told her, because she doesn't want to knit anything from it, I told her she could keep it for a while, and then when she wanted me to, I would, you know, I'll knit a hat from it for her. I don't think there's enough yardage to knit a hat just of this, so I'll have to blend it with something, or you know, use another yarn for it. But that was exciting to see what she did. And then I want to show you, so that was my 8-year-old. Now my 6-year-old decided that she wanted to use the blending board and spin as well. And she was just cracking me up because she has so much enthusiasm. And so she loves bright colors, and she made some really great roll-ags and spun them, and really wanted to use the spinning wheel all by herself, but her feet couldn't touch the treadles. So what I did is I helped, I did the treadles for a while and then showed her how she needed to draft. And I did need to help her join yarn when it broke, or changing the hook on the flyer, you know, just for bobbin management, I don't know. But by the end, she was drafting all by herself, using the orifice hook all by herself, but I still, I was sitting next to the spinning wheel and just turning the wheel by hand because her feet don't touch. So this is what she came up with, which was really, really cute. This little skein of yarn, and it is a really fun blend of pinks and blues and teals. Pretty sure there's some sparkle in there, but that was her little spin project, which I thought was so cute. She had a great time doing that. But I think she likes doing the blending board more than the spinning. I think, I'm not sure, because she asked me to get a spindle out, so I was helping her spin on a spindle, which is, I think it's a little harder than using a wheel, but I don't know. I'm sure that we will continue to do that in the future. It was really fun. But I want to show you the roll-ags that my 8-year-old made, because she did such a great job. And I do have some, they're in crinkly plastic right now. So heads up for that. But I'll show you how I stack them first of all. I just reused a bag I had from, I'm pretty sure it was from Spin Jones, like her leftover bits of fiber. But these are the rollags my daughter made. That's a pretty true color right there. And they're beautiful. She used a, the pink is a merino wool I purchased from Paradise Fibers. And she added some, just little bits of fiber, I think that were in a Spin Jones. And what does she call them? It's kind of a leftover fiber collection. That is really beautiful. But that's one of the rollags. They are so soft and nice. These are going to be really fun to spin up. I'm sure she'll want to spin them again. But yeah, she is, I thought she did a really great job blending and did such a great job with all of her colors. So that was those. And so my girls have been having a good time working with fiber as well. And so before I work, I've been holding off working on the July Paradise Fibers Fiber of the Month Club box. And I wanted to show it to you because it was so adorable. I like really couldn't even handle it. It was so cute. So this was the spoiler picture from Paradise Fibers. If you can see, it's Dorothy and the rainbow. So I knew it was gonna be Wizard of Oz. I knew it was gonna be so great. I was very excited. And the box came like this. It had some red tissue paper, which I took out and I used for my fiber share package. I always save all of the wrapping from my Fiber of the Month Club boxes and reuse it because it's always so fun. But I thought this was so cute. It's just like Dorothy's dress, the blue gingham. So cute. And inside was this super cute sticker. And oh my goodness, I couldn't even believe this. So clever. A little yellow brick. It's Progress Keeper. Oh my goodness. What? Oh, it was so cute. It's a Lego. If you didn't see it. So clever. Now this is a amazing fiber. I cannot tell you how soft this is. This is a, it says it's a cashmere and rose fiber micro blend, a 50-50 blend. This is so soft. If you think about the absolute softest fiber possible, I think this is it. And this is a really, this is a lot. This is 2 ounces. It's so much. I've already used some of it as well. Someone used it in, maybe I had someone use it in some of their rollags, one of my girls. And a little bit went a really long way in their rollags, but this is so beautiful. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to blend some fiber with that. And then, this is so fun. I cannot wait to use this. They came with this bag of a Cordale fiber in, I believe, 8 different colors. And so this is just going to be so fun. All of these colors to blend up on my blending board. I am going to, I've already planned this. I have planned this ever since I received the fiber box. I'm not going to do your traditional kind of rainbow rollags, which would be super beautiful, but I'm going to do kind of a not an opposite rainbow, but kind of a broken rainbow, maybe. So I'll be using all of these, but just in a different order. So just to challenge myself a little bit and not, I was going to do rainbow, but there's really no challenge in that, and I wanted to push myself a little bit. And what I am waiting on right now, well, I wanted to show you because I just thought it was so, the packaging was beautiful, the fiber's beautiful. I was super happy with this month's box. So I wanted to show you this, but then also I purchased a gold Angelina that I am waiting on, and I'm going to add gold sparkle to all of this. So I think it's only appropriate that I add gold sparkle. It's going to be fun. And then, you know, I don't know if you guys have watched Wizard of Oz in the past years. Obviously, I think we've, you know, many of us have seen it as children, and it's been around forever, so I'm sure you guys will know what I'm talking about. But they included poppy petals in this, and I just had to laugh because the poppy scene is when they go into all the characters go into this poppy field and kind of like get drowsy and fall asleep, which is like, as an adult, I'm watching it with my children. I remember when I watched it with my children for the first time, I was like, oh, okay. Yep. So they included poppy petals, which I just thought was so funny and clever. Anyway, that was that. And cannot wait to receive August's box. It is, today's the last day in July, so I will be receiving it very soon, and I cannot wait to show you on the next podcast. It'll be so fun. So that is it for my spinning content this week. I wanted to show you one last thing in the podcast, something that was sent to me. This was from my Fiber Share partner, Ruth, who actually watches this podcast. So hi, Ruth. I was so excited to hear that. She's in the UK and sent me the most thoughtful package. I was really touched. It came on a day that it just brightened up my day so much to receive this. We had a tree struck by lightning in our yard during a storm, and it knocked my internet out for quite a while. It fried the router. It must have been quite a surge. We were coming home from a trip, so we weren't here when it struck, which I love storms, but I think it would have been such a shock to the kids. It would have been a little scary, so I'm glad that we weren't here. It also knocked my hot water heater out, so I had to I had expensive repairs. It wasn't great. So I received this the day after I discovered it, or the day that I discovered it, actually, and she sent just such a sweet note and explained all this. Such a cute bag with these elephants on it. What a fun project bag, though. Closes up at the top, so practical. Sent this adorable needle cozy with all the coffee cups and what, donuts. Oh my goodness. I have to tell you guys, this is kind of a confession. I'm usually like a really healthy eater. I try to eat really healthy. I don't know what it is about donuts. I just love donuts so much. I don't indulge in them as much as I would like to. But gosh, there's something about donuts. Yeah. I love coffee and donuts. Okay, so here is, I have to show you the card that Ruth sent. What? How cute is that? So cute. I love that. She also sent this beautiful yarn. It's called Beach Huts, which was so so pretty. It's a merino Tessa silk. This is from, I believe it says Tyne and Floyd. I'm going to show you so you can see. And that is such a squishy skein of yarn in some really pretty colors, and has this gorgeous progress keeper with it, which was so fun. So that was exciting. She also sent this beautiful skein of hedgehog fibers, and this was a potluck. This is a DK weight, and so I plan on, with this will definitely become some kind of, either like I'm gonna put this in a fade type shawl, or maybe cold weather accessory. But this is a color I would not purchase myself, but I think that it is going to be so great in a fade. I cannot wait to use it. And then let's see what other goodies are in here. Oh, this was pretty. This is by Trelise. It's called Rainbowlicious. What? Love this. Look at all those colors, and it's sparkle. That is just so pretty. I love this. I love the color of this label too. I loved everything about this. That will be really fun to knit with. And then she just included all these really great goodies. You know, some teas and some wool wash, which I definitely can use. That's a little blown out. And this really cute tin of tons of stitch markers, or progress keepers, stitch marker type, and they're all gonna spill out, but they're super cute. They're all kind of like yarn themed, and yeah, really cute. You know, as much as I don't know, I just don't have a lot of these things, so I think that's like Big Ben, right? The clock. It's just terrible. I've never been to the UK, so I don't really know. The big tower with the clock on it. That's terrible that I don't know. Anyway, so many cute little things in here. I had the best time opening this up. This was my first year that I did Fiber Share, and I couldn't be happier with this package. Yeah, so thank you, Ruth, for your generosity, and just the love that you put into it was very sweet, and I'm so happy that we kind of virtually met. And yeah, hopefully I will be able to use these yarns in the future very soon. I can't wait to use them, actually, so thank you. So I think that about wraps up my massive content. It's so much to show you. I'm going to move on to some shop news and shop update things. So where I'm at in my studio renovation, we are coming along. We're making progress. We are meeting with a couple of contractors this week to just do the electric, do some, who else am I meeting? New windows. I think I mentioned some of this at the beginning of the podcast, but we have a few people coming in to take care of those things. Once we have those main things done, my husband and I actually do quite a bit of the work ourselves. And so we will do, actually, I do a lot of work myself as well. But I already have, you know, my dyeing sink laid out. I have some other equipment lined up. And so once I get kind of like the electrical, windows, drywall done, I will do probably the painting, the trim, the flooring, installing the sink, probably installing the bathroom, things like that. We will probably do ourselves. That will be fast. I'm not worried about doing any of that. It's just mostly getting these contractors in and getting that work done. So it's really exciting. Things are coming along, and I couldn't be more excited to start dyeing. I have to tell you, in the past week, I have just been itching to dye. I'm so excited for what the fall is going to hold for pineapple yarn. It's going to be so much fun. I'm kind of bursting at the seams with ideas and enthusiasm, and I hope you guys are excited too, because it's going to be a really great fall and winter. I have so many ideas. So one thing I did want to mention is, even though I will not be actually selling physical yarn mid-August, I am going to reopen my shop for pre-orders for my 2019 advent calendar. I have had so many messages with people asking when I am going to open up pre-orders. And so I want to do that soon and have enough time for you to get your pre-order in, but then also have time to plan and budget for the advent calendars. And so this year I'm going to do a sun and salt advent calendar, and it's just going to be, it's going to be so fabulous. It's going to be beach themed, very bright, like I said, sun and salt advent calendar. It is not going to be a traditional holiday or Christmas themed at all. It's going to be very happy, very bright. It's going to be so great. So I will put more details as well as a link. I will keep you guys updated. I will have a podcast when it goes live, or right before it goes live, with an actual link to the listing. And those will go live on August 15th, which I think is a Thursday, at pineappleyarn.com. So you can keep an eye out for that, or, you know, maybe set an alarm on your phone. They will not sell out. I will have plenty for everybody. One thing about this is going to be so great about having a studio is that everything is going to be so much more efficient with the time that I have. And so even though this isn't my main job, I'm raising children and mostly busy with that. I'm so excited because the time that I do have to spend with my yarn dyeing, I'm going to be able to do so many more things for pineapple yarn, and just there's some really exciting things on the horizon. So I did wanted to give you a heads up about the advent calendars that will be going on sale August 15th at pineappleyarn.com. Yeah, I am so excited to show you guys those. Those are going to be so fun. I'm pretty sure that they will ship probably the 1st of November for international, maybe a little bit before, and then for domestic they will probably ship mid-November. And so just to give you a heads up on those, I think that's when I shipped everything last year and it worked out great. If you have an opinion about that, you can either email me or leave me a comment below. Yeah, so I will also have some pattern recommendations. Last year I just kind of put a list of pattern recommendations that you can use your mini skeins in, and I will do the same thing this year. So hopefully this year I will remember to save a calendar for myself as well. Because last year I didn't. I was like, what are you thinking? Oh, but anyway, that about wraps it up. Thank you so much for joining me today and watching this very long episode. But if you like the podcast, I would love if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. So I hope to have a every other week schedule from here on out, and they won't be as long. So until next time, I hope you have an awesome day. Bye.